In a move that sent shockwaves through the media landscape, President Trump signed an executive order aimed at restricting federal funding to National Public Radio and the Public Broadcasting Service. This decision ignited a firestorm of controversy, with critics decrying it as an assault on press freedom and supporters applauding it as a long overdue measure to address perceived bias in these publicly funded institutions. The executive order itself, however, faced immediate challenges, with legal experts questioning its enforceability and pointing out that Congress, not the president, holds the purse strings when it comes to appropriations for public broadcasting. Despite the legal hurdles, the executive order served as a stark reminder of the precarious position of public media in an increasingly polarized political climate. While the immediate impact of the order remained uncertain, it cast a long shadow over the future of NPR and PBS, raising questions about their ability to maintain their editorial independence and financial stability in the face of political pressure. The order also sparked a broader debate about the role of public media in a democratic society, with some arguing that it should serve as a neutral platform for diverse viewpoints and others contending that it has a responsibility to advocate for progressive values. The media's response to the executive order was swift and largely critical, with many outlets characterizing it as an attempt to silence dissenting voices and undermine the free press. News organizations across the political spectrum published articles and editorials condemning the move, framing it as part of a larger pattern of attacks on journalism by the Trump administration. Some commentators went so far as to compare the executive order to the actions of authoritarian regimes that seek to control the flow of information. The media's outrage, however, was met with skepticism from some quarters, with critics accusing them of hypocrisy and pointing to instances of bias in their own reporting. This funding showdown between the Trump administration and public media highlighted the deep divisions that exist within American society and the challenges facing journalism in an era of misinformation and political polarization. It also underscored the importance of media literacy and critical thinking skills, as citizens are increasingly bombarded with conflicting narratives and must navigate a complex media landscape to form their own informed opinions. The executive order, regardless of its ultimate impact, served as a wake-up call for both public media and the broader journalism industry, prompting a much-needed conversation about funding models, editorial independence, and the public's trust in the news. The executive order targeting NPR and PBS funding, regardless of its legal ramifications, presented a crucial opportunity for the media to engage in profound self-reflection. The media's role as the fourth estate, a watchdog of power, hinges on its credibility and the public's trust. Yet, the increasing polarization of American society and the rise of social media have eroded this trust, leaving many citizens questioning the objectivity and fairness of mainstream news outlets. The executive order, seen by many as an attack on press freedom, inadvertently exposed the vulnerabilities of the media and the need for a critical examination of its own practices. Journalists and media organizations, instead of solely focusing on external threats, should have utilized this moment to address internal challenges. The industry's long-standing struggles with diversity, both in terms of representation and viewpoints, require urgent attention. A lack of diversity within newsrooms can lead to blind spots and perpetuate existing biases, further alienating segments of the population. Moreover, the media's tendency to gravitate towards sensationalism and negativity, often at the expense of nuanced reporting, contributes to public cynicism and distrust. This period of introspection should have extended beyond individual newsrooms. Journalism schools, responsible for shaping the next generation of reporters and editors, bear a responsibility to instill a commitment to fairness and accuracy. The increasing prevalence of advocacy journalism, while well-intentioned, risks blurring the lines between reporting and opinion, further contributing to the perception of media bias. A renewed emphasis on journalistic ethics, critical thinking skills, and the importance of presenting a balanced and comprehensive view of events is essential for restoring public trust. The media's credibility crisis is not solely a product of external attacks or political pressure. It is also a consequence of internal shortcomings and a failure to adapt to the evolving media landscape. By embracing self-reflection and addressing its own biases, the media can begin to rebuild trust with a skeptical public and reaffirm its essential role in a functioning democracy. Failure to do so risks further fragmentation, polarization, and a decline in the quality and impact of journalism itself. The phrase, "let's go." Brandon has become more than just a viral slogan. It's a symbol of growing dissatisfaction with mainstream media. Many people feel that traditional news outlets no longer represent their views or interests. This sentiment has led to an exodus from mainstream media, with audiences seeking alternative sources of information. The rise of independent media and digital platforms is a direct response to this shift. People are looking for voices they can trust, and they're finding them outside the conventional media landscape. It's a fascinating development, one that speaks volumes about the current state of media trust and consumption. And, well, it begs the question, what does the future hold for mainstream media in this new era? In the intricate web of journalism, internal bias often seeps into the very fabric of newsrooms. Funding controversies are not uncommon, and they can lead to significant upheavals. Resignations, whether voluntary or forced, are sometimes the inevitable outcome of these deep-seated issues. The debate over neutrality in journalism is as old as the profession itself. Is striving for neutrality making journalism irrelevant in today's polarized world? Or is it more critical than ever to maintain an unbiased stance? These questions continue to challenge the core principles of journalistic integrity. When the public loses trust in the media, the consequences are far-reaching. Without credibility, journalism loses its power to inform and influence. The erosion of trust can lead to a misinformed public, which in turn can have serious implications for democracy and society as a whole. Despite the challenges, there is a path forward for American journalism. Embracing transparency, fostering accountability, and recommitting to ethical standards can help rebuild trust. By adapting to the changing landscape while holding firm to core values, journalism can continue to play a vital role in our democracy.